Hey, this is Troy Stavros. Just a quick update on the Farragut housing market. Now that we've gotten all the data in through the end of July, let's take a look and see where things stand compared to a year ago and last month. So, real quick, looking at the number of listings. Compared to last year, we actually have more homes on the market now than we had about a year ago. Not many. We're still very few homes available. Inventory is low. When we look at the absorption rate here, it's trended up over the last few months. Right now, we're at 1.75 months worth of inventory, which is still considered very low. They say that a healthy market is 6 months worth of inventory. So this definitely still keeps us in a seller's market with that low amount of inventory. But we do see that it has trended up over the last 3 months. So that is a good thing. And there's reasons for that we'll talk about in a little bit here. When we go over here and look at the listing prices, when we go from the beginning of the year and look to now, it's trended up. But we can see it's stayed pretty flat over the last few months. So we aren't seeing prices rise dramatically, but they are staying pretty flat, which is pretty much the same thing that's happening in all of Knoxville right now. Over the last 3 months, things have stayed pretty consistent, pretty stable. Prices not dropping necessarily, but not rising that much either. As we go down here and take a look at the sold to list price ratio, we can see that last month it came down a little bit, but it jumped back up over this past month. This says that when we look at the sale to original list price ratio, which is this blue line, it's saying that the prices are coming in 98.7%. So sellers are getting 98.7 on average. 98.7% of their asking price when compared to their original list price. So if they make a price reduction and then their ultimate list price, and we look at that, they're getting 99.7. So almost getting their full list price over the last month of July when they are selling their house. So this is due to, again, low inventory and there still being a demand for homes in Farragut. Days on the market is trending up a little bit, but we're still looking right about 30 days for the median or average days on the market. We scroll down here and kind of take a look and see what the median sales price is for the month of July. Median sales price came in at $665,419. That is a 3.17% increase over 1 year ago. When we kind of look and see what has been trending year to date, we're about 4.5% higher year to date right now than we were in 2022. So definitely seeing prices slowly continue to rise. Nothing crazy happening, but definitely prices are rising. They are not falling. As we go down and kind of take a look and see what is selling over this past month. Let's take a look here. The top selling price range over the last month was the $350 to $400 price range. They had 7 sales in that price range. Next after that was really the big one as far as that. But then you had 3 in the $4 to $450, 3 in the $650 to $700, but pretty consistent over that. But definitely that was the number one selling price range in July was the $350 to $400 price range in Farragut. And when I say Farragut, that's 37934 zip code. When we look at homes that are pending or went pending over the month of July, this 450 to 500 price range saw 6 homes go under contract. 4 to 450 saw 4 homes go under contract, and the 850 to 900 saw 5 homes go under contract. So just kind of all over the board as far as price ranges that are going under contract. But again, that is due to limited supply and consistent demand. When we look at homes available on the market, the price range that has the most homes currently available is the 650 to 700 price range. There are 9 homes active in that price range right now. And we'll see that how that affects, obviously, price. Supply and demand says if there is more supply and less demand, then you may not see prices rise as quickly in that particular price point. And I think we're going to see that when we look at some of the other data that we look at here in a minute, that because there's so many homes available in that price range, we're not seeing those sell as fast, and we are not seeing those be absorbed as fast. So there will be less demand in that price point just because of the amount of supply. We saw there's 6 available in the 550 to 600 price range. You can see there's really not a whole lot available under 400,000. Only 3 homes available in Farragut under 400,000 through the end of July. And then also 8 homes available in the 850 to 900 price range. So you're seeing a lot of more inventory in that 650 to 700 and the 850 to 900 price range currently on the market. As far as new listings go, again, that 650 to 700 price range saw 10 new listings hit the market in July. So there are quite a few homes available in that price point right now. So don't be surprised if you have a home in that price point if they are lingering a little bit longer, because you have a lot more competition than many of these other price ranges. Let's take a look and see what is happening currently in the market. So that's a lot of those things. When we look at the past, that tells us what has happened over the months prior. When we look at sold homes, obviously if something is closed, that means it probably went under contract a month to 2 months, maybe even 3 months ago. So that's kind of looking at what the market was doing 2-3 months ago. But when we look at active information, what's happening with homes currently on the market, that gives us a pretty good idea as to what the market is doing right now and what it might be doing in the future. So let's take a look at that. So this is the market action index. This graph is kind of like think of it like a speedometer. If the needle goes to the left, that means things are decelerating. If the needle is going to the right, that means the market is accelerating. On this graph, the number 30 is the break point between a buyer's market and a seller's market. So you can see we're currently at a 48, which is still a strong seller's market. Although this gray area is where we were last month. This is where we are currently. So you can see that it has decelerated a little bit since last month. And what this graph is doing is it is looking at the supply and the demand and then giving us a visual of what the market looks like. So it's not as hot of a market as it was last month. Things have decelerated a little bit, but we are still definitely in a seller's market because of the limited supply of inventory. When we look over here on the real-time market profile, this gives us a 3-month snapshot over this graph of what has happened over the last 3 months. So it's good to kind of look at, see what if there's a trend up or a trend down. So median list prices has kind of stayed flat. It's gone up and down, but you can see 3 months ago, basically we were at 760 and we're at 775 now. So not any huge price jumps, but you can see it trends up and down. And the reason that there's big fluctuations is because there really aren't that many homes available and on the market in Farragut. So if you get a listing that comes on the market that is super expensive, obviously it's going to skew this trend line up quite a bit, and then it'll come back down as things even out. The median, this is an important one to look at, the median price of new listings, because this tells us what people are thinking as they are pricing their homes when they are putting a new listing on the market. So they're looking at all of the comps that have sold, and then they're making a determination with the current market. Okay, should we be listing lower than what those sold for? If the market was decelerating and they were worried that their home wasn't going to be able to sell for the same price, they would list their home for lower than the comps. If they think things are staying the same, they would list them probably around the same price as those sold comps. But if they feel that the market is trending up and prices are trending higher, then they are going to put their home on the market higher than what the comps were. So that's always an important thing to watch, the median price of new listings. So over the last 3 months, it stayed pretty flat. So there isn't a lot of, this is just telling us that there isn't a lot of information that's telling us we need to be pricing our homes a lot higher than what they have been selling for. But basically, over the last 3 months, it has stayed pretty flat. You could see 760 back on April 21st was the median price of new listings. And then as of the last August 4th, it was 725. So it's flat to actually maybe even trending down a little bit. And that's not surprising as we go into this part of the year, as we get through the spring and we're in the summer and things start moving closer to fall, winter, we will see prices trend down. That happens every year. So price per square foot, you can see this has kind of also stayed fairly flat. It's jumped up and down, but it was $229 for the median price per square foot of a home in April, and then currently $230. So $229, $230. Obviously, that's staying pretty flat. Median days on the market has also stayed pretty flat. In April, it was 21 days, and then just kind of bounced around, went up to 42 at one point, and then came down to 28 days as of August 4th. This is one of the ones that I think is one of the most important things to watch, are price decreases. So we want to see, are more homes having to decrease their price? And if they are, then that might be telling us that things are softening a little bit in the market. So here it was pretty flat until we got to July 21st, and then we saw a bump up here. It went from 28, which is low as far as price decreases, and it bumped all the way up to 46.55%. That says that almost 50% of the homes currently on the market have had a price reduction, and that is telling you that maybe people were pricing too high and they needed to make an adjustment on their price. Inventory down here has trended up, so we are seeing more inventory over the last 3 months. Median rent has actually held fairly steady, with the median rent in Farragut being $26.50. And the market action index has actually trended down, which we saw here. We've seen it go from 58 down to 48. So just says that it might be decelerating a little bit, but yet we're still in a strong seller's market. We can kind of take a look here at what has happened with prices over time, the median sales price. This is from 2018, so typically we just want to zoom in to see what maybe has happened over the last year. So this graph is looking at all price ranges lumped together, what has happened with pricing. It looks like, it rose in March and then started coming down, hit a bit of a trough in June of 2023, and then has started to work its way back up again. But the thing that we really want to look at, especially because everyone has homes in different price ranges, we want to look at the market segments and break this into market segments. So when we do that, it breaks all of the homes on the market into 4 segments, 25% of the market in each segment. So the low segment, the median price for the low segment in Farragut is $570,000. And that's the median price of the lowest segment of the market. The median square footage in that segment is right around 2,600 square feet. And that typically gets you a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, a home that's about 34 years old. The second segment up from that comes in at a median price of $725,000 in Farragut. That gets you around 3,300 square feet, 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath on average. Above that is $877,450 for that segment. That gets you closer to 3,800 square feet, 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath. And then the top segment, that median price is coming in at $1,429,450. So right around 1.4 million. That gets you almost 3,900, 4,000 square feet, 4 bedrooms, close to 4 baths. So that's how it's breaking each segment up. And then when we look at each of those segments through all of this data, it tells us what's happening in each segment. So we can see that from the beginning of January, things have held pretty steady. There haven't been any huge increases in this low segment. It started at 463. It did rise a little bit and is currently through at the latest that we've seen at 490. So it started 463 and has risen to 490. That segment. The next segment up was at 644 back in January and is currently at 697. So again, saw a steady increase since the beginning of the year. The next segment up started at 827 and has moved up to 926. So that's a pretty good increase there as well. So again, trending up. And then the top segment started the year at 1.1 million and is at 1.4 million now, another big increase. So across the board, since the beginning of the year, that is showing us prices have trended higher in Farragut. Let's take a look and see how things have done as far as price per square foot in each segment. So it looks like across the board again, things have risen. So the low segment price per square foot was coming in at $216 at the beginning of the year and currently is at $221. The segment up from that $725 segment was at $224 and is currently at $221. So that's actually dropped down. And that is the segment, again, the $725 segment is the one that we said where we're seeing a lot of inventory right now. We're seeing more homes on the market in that price range or in that segment, because when we looked earlier at that graph, it said that 650 to 700 range had a lot of new homes or a lot of homes hitting the market and available. Well, that would fall into this segment. Thus, we're seeing price per square foot drop because people might need to be more competitive in that market. The 877 450 segment, that one at the beginning of the year was at 208 and is as of the latest is at 248. So a pretty big jump there. And then the top segment started the year at 231 and as of late was at $347 a square foot. You see a huge jump in that top luxury range moving up there. One other thing to look at that's important as far as looking at what the demand is for a segment is we can look here and look at how many new listings hit the market over the last week and then how many have been absorbed. So in the lowest market or the lowest segment, 3 new homes in that, or 3 new listings hit the market last week, 3 absorbed. In that 725 segment where we said we were seeing a lot come on the market, 6 new listings hit the market last week, 0 were absorbed. So you can see that this price range right here is probably the one where if you're looking to buy a home in Farragut, you're going to be able to get the most negotiation happening and maybe get a little bit better deal because there's just more supply here and maybe a little less demand. So keep that in mind if you're buying. But also we're seeing only 7 days on the market. So things are happening are the ones that are selling quickly. But look, you've got 6 new listings, 0 absorbed, meaning that might be the price range if you're looking to do a little bit more negotiating. The 877 450 segment, they saw 4 new come on the market at last week, 2 absorbed. So still might be some room there. And then as far as the top range, no new homes listings came on the market and 1 was absorbed. So there's a little less supply up there as well. So there you go as far as that goes. Let's take a look at price decreases across the segments and see what's happened. So you saw at the beginning of the year, all of these segments were seeing huge levels of price reductions. The low segment at the in January, 63% of the homes in the lowest segment, and that's the 570 segment here, 60% of those homes had a price reduction. And then the high segment saw 50% of homes, so half of the homes, and then 45 and 42%. So a bunch of these price reductions at the beginning of the year, and then it has trended down. So what's the reason for that? Well, you can see let's look and see what happened around January, February of 2023 with interest rates. Okay, so let's zoom in a little bit here to 2023. So when we look at January, once the end of January hit, January, February, we saw rates just keep climbing and get up over 7%. So that is a sign that tells you when that buyers are very attuned to mortgage rates, and mortgage rates definitely affect how the market reacts. So when we saw this big increase in mortgage rates from February 1st all the way up to March, and then we go back and we look at our graph here, well, this is when all these price reductions were happening. And then as things started calming down a little bit here, then we can see that same calming happen and less price reductions happen. But as of right now, where we stand, it looks like things have kind of leveled off. This price range here, which is the lower 90-day, which is that 725, which is also where we said we're seeing a lot of inventory, where 6 new listings hit the market, 0 had been absorbed. This is the one that is obviously showing the most price decreases. And it's because of that. There's more available inventory, and it's not getting sucked up by demand. So you're seeing more price decreases in that segment. Okay, so that was a lot of information. Hopefully that is educational. If you have any questions about any of that, don't hesitate to reach out to me. If you, another thing, if you're interested in this report, so you can look at this yourself and kind of go through all these numbers yourself, just reach out to me and I can send this to you, and you can subscribe to it. It'll send it to you every time there's a change, so you can see how the market reacts. Happy to do that for you. That's free, but just let me know how we can help. And I hope this is educational, and Farragut's a beautiful place to live. And I'm glad you're here. All right, we'll talk to you soon.